I have got a lot of my work done this morning. It's currently 2 p.m. But around noon I took like a 2-hour break, which was not great. I took a little nap. I think I'm gonna head out for a bit. I'm still trying to decide if I want to bring my laptop with me. I think I'll bring my laptop and like the stuff that I want to get done. Like I printed off the new outline for draft 3 for Between the Waves, and I wanted to do some reviewing of that to kind of like make sure that I'm aligned with it and make sure I'm not missing anything. I also wanted to do some reading, and then I definitely had a couple hours left of work that should be done. So I think I should probably bring my laptop anyways and go out to a cafe or something. I need to get out of the house first of all because the Wi-Fi has been horrific today. And I have some very like internet heavy things that I need to do, and I've just been working from home most of the week and I feel like I need like a little break, so I might go get a late lunch somewhere and sit and just like get some stuff done because I need an environment change. I woke up at 4:20 this morning because I drove my partner to the beginning of a big trail run that he's doing today. So I woke up at 4:20, left the house shortly after 4:30, and I got back shortly after like 8:30 probably. There's a fair amount of traffic, and then I went back to sleep for 2 hours. So I now have a massive container of coffee that I'm gonna drink because I need to clean a bunch today. And then I want to get some writing done, as always, but I'm feeling really good about Between the Waves still and the poetry, so we're just gonna like keep going with the momentum. Currently watching this interview with Victoria Aveyard. I have also done a thing to my hair. I actually don't know yet if it worked. I tried to put a color remover in it, just because I felt like over the past year I've put like a very auburn color, an ash blonde, I've put like a very cool toned brown in it, and I kind of just felt like with my natural hair growing out, which I've tried to match before but I've not done very successfully, I don't know, I kind of just felt like it looked like a lot of colors and I just kind of felt like changing it up, so I put a color remover in it. I actually don't know if it worked or if it is just going to make it look worse, but I have to get ready to go to a get-together, one of my friends going away parties, so I'm gonna keep watching this interview and do my like face stuff, and then I guess we'll see what happens with the hair. Just pause my epic adventure music. I think the color remover kind of worked. I don't know. And I don't even know if I'll keep the clip in, but at the beginning of this vlog, I was trying out like a color remover in my hair just because I've added a couple box dyes to it over the past year or so, and I kind of wanted to like bring it back to what it was before, kind of a more natural color. I think it worked. I think it definitely took out some of like the orangey hues. Anyways, it's Tuesday. It is almost noon. I spent most of the morning reviewing some client work and then also editing a video that needs to be reviewed by a brand before it goes up. And I needed to have that done, before today, to be honest, but it was on a really tight timeline. Then I spent a bit of time and I cleaned up my desk and my workspace. The rest of my room still needs to be cleaned quite a bit, but it's on my to-do list. I've been like changing up my to-do lists so that I have more higher priority stuff at the beginning and then kind of less priority as it goes down, because I know I have a lot of things to do, but they're not all necessarily the same priority. I've also prepped some content. I'm trying to get better at posting to like YouTube Shorts again. And if you are on my Patreon and you saw my video about the whole TikTok challenge, this may seem kind of contradictory because I was literally talking about how I just felt like I didn't have the capacity for it. But honestly, I've kind of been stocking up content a little bit, and it just feels, you know what a big asset is of TikTok? The editor is just really easy to use. I like the text options they have. It feels very intuitive, especially compared to like other in-app editors, but they've just made it a lot easier to like save content from TikTok and then reuse it on other platforms, even though it has the little like watermark, but I don't really mind it that much. And I'm okay if it's like cross-platform promotion anyways to my TikTok. So I was using it yesterday to try and like stock up on content, and it just seems so much easier to use it. So I imagine I'll be posting on TikTok a bit more now, which I'll leave linked down below if you want to follow me, just because creating that short form vertical content is kind of easier to do on the TikTok platform anyways. So even if I'm making it for like Instagram Reels or YouTube Shorts, I just cross post to all of those platforms anyways. So I'm trying to do it in a way that's a bit more sustainable and not going to burn me out, while also having fun with it and still building my audience and hopefully marketing my books when they're out. I also made a Q4 writing plan. So it's the fourth quarter of the year in starting October. That's why I've also called it Q4-ish, because it's not October yet. It's like September 19th. But I made this plan because I was thinking about how long I have been writing between the waves, which has been since the end of 2021. I got the idea in early 2021, and then I started writing it for Camp NaNoWriMo, or for NaNoWriMo, in November of 2021. So it's been about 2 years, 3 or 4 drafts, depending on how you categorize a draft. And I don't feel like I'm as close to being done as I want to be. And I was also thinking about it the other day because I re-downloaded TikTok obviously, and I was watching, like, catching up on Victoria Aveyard's TikToks that she's been posting, because she always has TikToks talking about writing craft and traditional publishing and the publishing industry in general. And I was thinking about the fact that her, as a traditionally published YA author, writes and publishes a book pretty much once per year, like 1 book per year, or the next installment of a series each year, is kind of the standard publishing timeline for traditional publishing. Obviously there are situations when it's longer than that, like usually when you're debuting you probably won't be published within a year, just because there's so much more work that needs to go into a first manuscript. But I was thinking about the fact that I want to be more aligned with the standard publishing timeline in this industry. And I figure basing it on traditional publishing timelines is better, because traditional publishing tends to be slower than indie publishing. The amount of time that it takes to get a book traditionally published is usually the longest that it's going to take, unless you're an indie publisher and you really like to take your time, which is totally fine. But I feel like for me, I know that I have so many story ideas and I'm always working on something, and there's always something new and exciting, that I don't want to spend that much time on one story. And maybe that'll change as I get older and I start publishing and I kind of get a better feel for what this can be as a career. But for right now, I just feel like I have so much to write, and I have so much that I want to write, that I want to be releasing minimum 1 book per year. And because I have one that I'm going to be querying for traditional publishing next year, summer or the end of next year, I know that if that gets agented and if that gets sold for publication, then I'm going to have an official timeline, and I'm going to have to get it done within 1 to 2 years and make sure that I'm already comfortable and familiar with that sort of timeline. So that is a very long way of saying that is why I have created an actual writing plan and some sort of timeline that's a little more detailed than what I've been doing for my Path to Publishing videos, is because I'm kind of feeling the pressure of having a publishing timeline. And it's not bad pressure though. It's like excited pressure. Like, I feel like if I got to publish 1 book per year for the rest of my life, I could scratched the surface of all of the stories that I feel like I have to tell. So I kind of just want to get started. I want to get into this. I want to start getting my art and my stories out into the world. I want to start sharing them with people and improving and getting feedback from audiences and starting to build a community around stories. So that's why I have created a new writing plan. I think I'm going to go over it in more detail, maybe in a Patreon video, maybe on YouTube, but probably Patreon, because I feel like I want to keep it a bit more private for now. Part of that timeline is finishing Between the Waves Draft 3 by November. I would like to do it by mid-November. I also, it's kind of in rough shape because I shoved it in my backpack, but I did the revision. I might have to blur that. I did the revision for the re-outline that I did for Between the Waves Draft 3. I also did, as you can see, like 10-sentence overview of the plot for Between the Waves 2, the second book in the series, just because I felt like that was something I was kind of missing, because I need to know what's going to happen in book 2 in order to properly prepare and foreshadow and set up all of the subplots and main plots and character arcs for what needs to happen in book 2. So I did that yesterday. I also purchased Broken Throne. I had this book before. You may recall when I was doing book purges, I got rid of this one when I got rid of the rest of the Red Queen series, and to this day it is one of my biggest regrets. Not only because I hadn't finished reading this one when I kind of thought I had, but also because I had spent multiple hours going through Red Queen, like the first book in the series, and adding sticky notes and breaking down the entire book and the entire structure based on Victoria Aveyard, the author's video that she did on Instagram TV, because she broke down how she set up the entire book and where the midpoint was and explained different like plot pieces. And I had taken notes and made sticky notes and like broken down the entire thing, and it was like a Bible for story structure. And then I sold it, and I sold this one when I had not finished reading it. Anyways, all is well now. This is such a long update, but my plan now is that I want to do at least 30 minutes of working on Between the Waves for today because of the point that we're at. I am going to do that in Scrivener, so I want to set up this new outline in Scrivener and write it in Scrivener, and then I'll be editing it in Word. So I want to get that done today, and then we'll see what happens from there. So I ended up writing for an hour instead of half an hour, which is okay. I set the timer for half an hour and then it went off, and then I kind of just kept on writing because I was getting through it. I basically took this like, I don't know, 6 or 7 page outline that I kind of typed up, and then I put it into Scrivener. So I have it sorted into the 3 acts, and then I have scenes for each act. So currently I have about 28 scenes. It's pretty even. I think I have 8 scenes in the first act, and then I have 8 or 9 in the first half of Act 2, and then the midpoint, and then between the midpoint and Act 3 is where we're missing a little bit of information, but I'm also not worried about it at all because I have a lot of other plans and ideas going on in my head, and one of them is going to fit perfectly, or rather more than one of them. Multiple of the scenes going around in my head and the ideas that I have are definitely going to fit well in the second half of Act 2, and it's kind of just figuring out where they're gonna fit and how to make them work. And by the time I get to that point, I'll have a better idea of what to actually put there anyways, because I'll know kind of what I'm missing and what I haven't been giving as much information about. So I'm like super not worried about missing a couple scenes there or being unclear of a few scenes in the second half of Act 2, because Act 2 is just where a lot of play happens for me, so those will sort themselves out. And then Act 3 also has 8 scenes. This is like almost perfectly, the math is really mathing. But yeah, I have it all set up in Scrivener. Obviously we're missing a few scenes here and there and things will be reorganized, I'm sure, but I am really liking how the story is going so far. I feel better about the characters, I feel better about the plot. Everything so far is lining up very nicely to set up a really strong second book, as far as I can tell, so I'm hopeful there. And honestly, all that's left to do now is just start writing, but I do need to get some client work done for today. It's already 1 p.m. and I have things to do tonight, so I need to get started on that. But I'm feeling good and I'm feeling excited to kind of jump into this, and I will be basically drafting again. Like, I'm not really going through and editing. This is pretty much an entirely new draft again, but honestly, I'm getting to the point where I feel like I might just be one of those people that has a brand new draft nearly every round. Like, I might just rewrite every single draft, but we'll see. We shall see. Hi, hello. I'm feeling slightly chaotic this morning, I think because I've just felt a little bit like not on top of things so far this morning. So it's nearly 9. I have had my coffee, or I'm still having my coffee. This past weekend I kind of re-outlined Between the Waves Draft 3 just because I was still having issues with what I had put together, and I don't remember if it was in the last update, but I feel like I really figured out some major issues that I was having, and the plot feels much stronger now, and it just makes a lot more sense for what I was trying to go for. So now that I have that, I have started writing again. I'm still calling it Draft 3 because again, I never finished the previous Draft 3 because of all the plot issues. But yesterday we wrote over 3,000 words in the new draft, and finished the very first scene and then got through most of the second scene. So today my goal is to finish the scene that I'm currently working on plus one more whole scene, and I'm hoping to actually do more than that, because now that I have so much of the plot figured out because of how many times I've already written this story, and now that I have all of that, it's at one of those points in the process where it feels like all that's left to do is write. So that's what I need to do now. So I'm excited to get a couple more hours of work done and then switch over to writing. Okay, I think I'm gonna end the vlog here. I ended up writing another few hundred words, but not finishing what I had hoped to, but still, I wrote like nearly 4,000 words this week, and re-outlined an entire draft. Even if like the word count isn't really reflecting how much I've done, I guess, the progress that I've been able to do as far as like this draft goes is making me, I'm overjoyed by it. I'm also just so happy to be vlogging my writing again and to feel like I actually have something to put in my videos as far as writing goes. So I hope that you're all enjoying that as well. Thank you all so much for watching this video. Don't forget to smile, and I will see you in the next one.